Algebra tiles. Algebra tiles are like a code for polynomials. So we have a large square is a variable squared. That can be any letter squared. A rectangle is any variable. So X, A, Y, Z, whatever, a letter. And a small square is just a number. If we have something that looks like this, so we have 2 large squares, 2 rectangles, and 5 small squares, we need to decipher this code. See if you can do it. If you wrote down 2x squared plus 2x plus 5, you're right. If we have this guy, we got 3 squares, we have 4 rectangles, and I have 8 small squares. Write this down in your notebook. If you decided that this was 3x squared plus 4x plus 8, you're right. There are positive and negative tiles. So an open square is positive, a colored-in square is negative. A positive tile cancels out a negative tile. So this means if I have a colored-in box, it's going to cancel out a white box. If we take a peek at this guy, we've got 2 large squares, 3 rectangles, and 6 small squares on the top half. And then I have 1 square on the bottom, 2 rectangles, and 2 small squares. We're going to color in those bottom guys, so let's make sure we have this in our notebook right now. We're going to go ahead and write a formula for the top half and for the bottom half. So the top half is 2x squared plus 3x plus 6. Can you decide what the formula is for the bottom half? If you said minus x squared minus 2x minus 2, you're right. So now what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to cancel out any colored in squares for white squares. So now let's take a look at what we have left over. Make sure you're doing this in your notebook because it's a little bit clearer to see in your notes than maybe on the board here. So we're left over with 1 big square, 1 rectangle, and 4 small squares. So if we're going to write the formula, it's going to look like x squared plus x plus 4. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this guy. We have 3 large squares, 5 rectangles, and 6 small squares. We're going to color in some of those. Now the ones that we have colored in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cancel out what we can cancel out. And then we're just going to add up our leftovers. So our leftovers are going to be x squared plus x plus 2.